Steps for writing an equation from ordered pairs when you don't have the y-intercept in the ordered pairs. So first you need to find the slope by using the formula. Next, you need to pick an ordered pair from the given ordered pair set. And then you're going to plug in x, y, and m into the slope-intercept form equation and solve for b. So then you're ready to write your equation and you only plug in m and b into that. So that's what we're going to be working on today. So our first example, we have two ordered pairs. So step one was we need to write the, find the slope. So we're going to use our formula. So y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay, so we could put that into Desmos. I'll go ahead and manually do that. So that's -1. And this becomes plus, so that would be +1. So my slope is -1. The next thing I'm ready to do is find b. So as we can see, we don't have an x value where it's 0. We have an x value of -3 and -2. So that's no help. So we're going to go ahead and pick one of the two ordered pairs. I'm going to pick the second one because I like even numbers. So I'm going to use this x value and this y value. And remember, this is my m value slope, right? So we're going to plug that into slope-intercept form. So slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. So we're going to plug in a y value, an m value, and an x value so we can figure out what the b value is. So the y value, so I said I'm going to use this y value 12. So instead of y, I'm going to place the number 12. M, which was my slope, we already found that was -1. And the x value we used and we're going to use is -2 because we picked the second order pair. And then b is our unknown. So we're going to go ahead and solve this equation. So the first step is to multiply. So we have -1 times -2, which is 2, and bring the rest of the equation down. So I'm solving for b. So this is a +2. So to move that to the other side, or the inverse, is to subtract 2. So now b is alone on the right, and 12 minus 2 is 10. And that's our value for b. So I'm now ready to write my equation. Y equals -1x plus 10, or you can just simply say y equals -x plus 10. And because that one you can simplify out. And we know this is not proportional or does not vary directly because we have an add-on. Okay, let's try the next question. Okay, so question number 2. So again, we have our order pairs, x, y, and x, y, and we're going to use our formula. So we're going to do 11 minus 7 over 5 minus 3. You can put that into Desmos or do it by hand. So 11 minus 7 is 4. 5 minus 3 is 2, and that simplifies to 2. So my slope is 2. And then I need to pick an order pair. So I'm going to go ahead and pick this first order pair, and I'm going to plug that into my slope-intercept formula. So we're going to use y, which is 7. M, we got that earlier. That was the number 2. Use the x value from the order pair, which is 3. And we're going to find b. So the first step is we're going to multiply 2 times 3. So 2 times 3 is 6. And bring the rest of the equation down. So 6 plus b is 7. Well, you might know what that already is, but we're going to go ahead and show our inverse operation by subtracting. That's a 0 pair. Bring down b. Bring down the equal sign, and 7 minus 6 is 1. So my y-intercept is 1. So now I'm ready to write my equation. Y equals 2x plus 1. And again, that's not proportional because there is an add-on, so it does not vary directly. Okay, let's try example number 3. So we have two order pairs, x and y. If it helps, you can label your group 1, group 2. So it's y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So again, Desmos, or we can do it by hand. So that double negative becomes that plus, so that's -8. And 3 minus 1 is 2. So that simplifies to -4. That's my slope. Now I'm going to pick an order pair. Pick the first one. So we're going to plug that into my slope-intercept formula. So we're going to use the y value of -4, The m value we found was our slope of -4 earlier. And then the x value I'm using is 1. And we're going to solve for b. So -4 times 1 is -4. Bringing the rest of the equation down. To move our -4 to the opposite side and make it a zero pair, we need to do the inverse, which is adding 4. B is now isolated, and -4 plus 4 is 0. So my y-intercept is 0, which means when I write my equation, y equals mx plus b, mx plus b, so I'm not going to write plus 0 because that is proportional because it goes through the origin, so it does vary directly. Okay, let's do the same thing but with a table. So pick two ordered pairs. If I would like to use the first two, that's fine. So we can subtract 32 and 14 and 5 and 2. So 32 minus 14 and 5 minus 2. Okay, so let's go ahead and that's 18 over 5 minus 2 is 3. And 18 over 3 is 6. So my slope is 6. I look for my table. I need an x value of 0. So I don't have one in there. So we can use our formula, y equals mx plus b, and use an ordered pair. So I'll use this x value and this y value. So instead of y, we're going to use 14. We found our slope earlier was 6. And the x value is going to be 2. And bring down plus b. So we're ready to solve for b. So 6 times 2 is 12. Bring the rest of the equation down. So we're ready to move 12 to the opposite side. So we isolate our variable. So we're going to subtract 2 to make a zero pair. What you do to one side, you do to the other. So we have b on the right, and 14 minus 12 is 2. So our y-intercept is 2. So we're ready to write the equation, y equals 6x plus 2. And that is not proportional because it does not vary directly. Okay, let's try another one. Pick some ordered pairs. Maybe I want to pick, let's say, the first one, and let's do the fourth one. So let's do, I'm going to do 15 minus -10 over -3 minus 2. So I'm just showing you can do it in any order as long as you're going from 1 to the bottom. So you can't do top to bottom, bottom to top. So that becomes a plus. So 15 plus 10 is 25. And that makes -5. So our slope is -5 as it's simplified. Our table does not have x value of 0. You may know 0 falls between there, and you may be able to figure out what number is there. But in the event you cannot, you can always use your formula or slope-intercept form, and that's what we're going to practice. So we're going to plug in, let's use this ordered pair. So I'm going to use that x and this y. So -15. Plug in the m that we found earlier, which is -5. And the x value is 3 plus b. So we're ready to multiply. -5 times 3 is -15. Bring the rest of the equation down. Move -15 to the opposite side. We do the inverse, which is adding, so it's a zero pair. B is now alone. We have to also add it to the other side. So -15 plus 15 is also 0. So we have a y-intercept of 0. So my equation is y equals -5x, and we don't put plus 0 because it is proportional. And yes, it varies directly because that's what proportional means. Okay, and then let's do one last one. So we're going to find slope, pick two ordered pairs. So let's do 12 minus 8 over 6 minus 4. 12 minus 8 is 4, 6 minus 4 is 2, so my slope is 2. And let's go ahead and find our y-intercept. So this pattern is not very easy to use, so this would be a great example of when to use our formula y equals mx plus b. So I'm going to go ahead and pick that first order pair. So the y value is 8. My slope we found earlier was 2. And the x value from the order pair I picked was 4. So we're going to go ahead and multiply 2 times 4, and we get 8. Now to move 8 to the opposite side, we have to subtract it to make it a 0 pair. What you do to one side, you do to the other. So b is alone, and 8 minus 8 is also 0. So my y-intercept is 0. So I'm ready to write my equation, y equals 2x. Again, we do not write plus 0 because it went through the origin, which means it is proportional and varies directly. So hopefully those are some good examples to help you out.